To a cost of design style question. In this question, we are going to, first of all, repaint my classroom, and second of all, we're going to install new flooring. And our whole point is to find out what is the cost of this design. Excuse me, as if we were a small business owner and we're providing an estimate to a customer. So the customer being the school division saying, hey, how much are you going to charge to paint this classroom? And, or myself as a teacher, I'm trying to propose a budget and ask for the paint to paint the walls. So we have some measurements clearly. We know the cost of 1 can of paint. We know the coverage amount. We want to include tax, and we also want to include 10% extra. And this is for that grungy part that's at the bottom. If there's any spillage, perhaps we need extra for certain parts of our space. It's always good to budget for 10% extra on these kind of projects. In terms of the classroom, this is our door walking in. This is my lovely desk right here. And we've got 2 whiteboards, 2 cork boards, and we're just saying that they're about the same size, 4x10. These walls are 9-foot height on the walls. We've got windows on the far end, thank goodness. Now, these are all areas that don't require paint. And of course, we don't have to paint the area where the door is. That's got a different color. Typically, when we take the measurements in the classroom with my measuring tape, we have to take the measurements in inches all the way through. So although we know these units are in feet, the length of the walls we usually gather in inches. So there's quite a few calculations, and that's why I've got myself a second space here. We're going to have to find the total area of the 4 walls that we need to paint. And once we find that total area, we're going to have to subtract off these whiteboards. And we're going to have to subtract off the window and subtract off the door. And then that should leave us with the area for paint. So let's first figure out what our total area is. We have to convert inches into feet, or vice versa. You could always do feet into inches. But I'm going to maybe just move these guys from inches into feet. So I'll start with, and maybe it's a good idea to label the walls. So I'm going to label them A, B, C, and D, just so that I can kind of be clear in my own mind what we're talking about. So for 420 inches, the conversion is 12 inches to 1 foot. So again, when we're converting our units, we're going to go inches over inches, feet over feet. And so that should leave us with 35 feet across. It's a nice big classroom. And for the other measurement here, that's 264. Will bring us to 22 feet across. So if we look at wall A and wall C, both of those walls are going to be identical. So, and remember, we're only thinking about just the walls, and we're not worrying about the stuff that's on the walls at the moment. So we're going to do 35 feet by the 9 feet high. So 35 feet across and 9 feet high. And we're going to need 2 of those walls. So just take note here that we've got feet times feet. Feet times feet is square feet. So now we've found the area of wall A and C. So let's just do wall B and D. So individually they're 22 feet across by 9 feet high. And then there's 2 of those walls. So that'll be 396 square feet. So bringing that together, so total area of course, if you wanted to do all 4 of them, all 4 walls individually, you could then add all 4 walls together, but it, it seems a lot faster to just multiply them. So now we know that the total area of the space. Now we're going to have to find out the area of things like the whiteboards, the windows, the doors. So the whiteboards are 4 by 10, 4 feet by 10 feet, which gives us 40 square feet for one whiteboard. And we have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 160 square feet of space that we don't have to paint because they're filled with whiteboards. Windows, we've got 3.5 feet by 10 feet. So that's 35 square feet. And then the door itself is a 3-foot wide door by 6.5 feet tall. So now if we gather up all of this, all of these numbers, and so we're going to find the paint area, and that will be the total area minus the whiteboards, minus the windows, minus the door. So the amount of space that we need to paint is 811.5 square feet. I'm just going to move this guy over here. And in the question, it talks about us doing 2 coats of paint. So let's take that area and times that by 2 for the 2 coats. So we're required to have at minimum 1,623 square feet worth of paint. Now, in the question, it's allocating 10% extra just for spillage or for extra paint required. So let's do that 10% extra. One way to do it is to find 10% and then to add back. But I'm just going to suggest that we actually take like 100% of the area plus 10% more to make 110%. And so we could actually do 1.10. That's 110% of the area. And then that'll just jump us right into the final, our final answer. So again, feel free to find 10% and add it back if you'd like. But in one quick step, you can kind of get there. So now we know that the total, including the extra, we want to find out how many cans of paint. So for each can, we've got a coverage of 400 square feet. And so doing this on our calculator, we're going to come up with 4.46 cans. But of course, that's not possible. We can't go into Rona and get 4.46 cans. So we're going to need to have to round this up to 5 cans. Even if, like normally with a 0.4, you don't round up. Even if it's 4.1, you still need to round that up, because where are you going to get that extra paint from? So we're rounding it up and we're purchasing 5 cans. So now the 5 cans we're going to purchase at $44.99 each. So it'll be $224.95 worth of paint. And then we have tax. So 12% tax in Manitoba at the moment. So it's 100% of the price and 12%. And so final answer, $251.94. Whew, lots of steps. Definitely lots of steps to get there. Recap. Found the total number of square feet required, and then fiddled around with the number of coats, 10% more, dividing by the units that are available in stock, and adding tax. Let's just take a quick look at the same building, but flooring. So we'll use the same space, but look at buying like laminate or hardwood flooring for it. So previously we were looking at the areas of the walls, each of the 4 walls, but in terms of flooring, we'll look at the area of the whole space, just on the ground. So we're going to need to calculate the total area of the floor. Let's get a different marker. And so we know previously that we had already done that conversion, that it's 35 feet by 25 or 22 feet, I should say. So we have 770 square feet. We need to have 10% extra in your estimate. Don't find the number of boxes first and then do 10%. And certainly don't buy the boxes and then do 10%. We have to do our 10% more at this stage. So you definitely want to be doing that before you start figuring out how much of each unit you want. So we'll do the 770 times 1.10. So 100% of the area and 10%. And our box doesn't cover a whole lot. It's only 23 square feet. So let's figure out how many boxes we need. It's kind of nice to organize yourself here. You notice that there's no set way to do this. Everybody's answers are going to look very different. And so if we divide that 847 by the 23 square feet that's in each box, we're going to find 35.83 or 36 boxes. Again, don't buy 35.8 boxes. It's impossible. So let's purchase 36 boxes. And so we'll get a subtotal then of 36 times $72.99. And finally, calculate our after-tax price, because again, it's asking for tax. Sometimes it doesn't. So our final price will be 1.12, or 100% of the price and 12% tax. And so we have a final cost then for flooring, with some beautiful laminate flooring, for just shy of $3,000 in the classroom. And that is cost of design.